Okay. So anyway, it's kind of fun for me here tonight. I'm in Texas, the beautiful state of Texas, Austin, Texas, where we're on Central Time. So it's about 6 p.m. for me. And it just tickles me. It's fun for me to get together with all y'all, as we say here in Texas, to talk about power teams. You know, when I first wrote a lot of this material many, many years ago, it was from my perspective and the things that I've learned over the years and seen. And what happened as soon as the book came out, we found people around the world trying to do what the book was showing them how to do, but how to do it in an organized way as a group. And so Dr. Meisner asked me to put together this Power Team Certified program. And my point is, it's fun for me because the material obviously has legs, it has value. And when I get a group of folks like all of you on the webinar tonight, it's because it's working. It's not because I'm advertising, right? I'm not putting an ad out there saying, come check it out. You came here tonight because you were referred by people who are having a great experience with the Power Team Certified program. So it's fun for me. So the idea here tonight, our theme tonight, is that there's one destination, and that destination is giving more referrals and in return receiving more referrals and making more money with structured networking. I'm going to remind you guys to go ahead and mute your microphones or telephone if you can, getting some background noise. And if I have to figure out how to do a group mute, I will. Let me look at that real quick. No, I don't think I'm going to mess with that. So just try to mute yourself if you can, and we'll get into the material here. So everybody knows Dr. Meisner, founder of BNI. I joined BNI a long time ago. And when I joined BNI, it wasn't called BNI. It was called the network. Dr. Meisner didn't even really realize the potential of this thing that's become BNI. So Dr. Meisner is my co-author. He's authored over 20 books, including The World's Best Known Marketing Secret, The Masters of Networking, and is widely regarded internationally, clearly, without any real competition, as being the father of modern networking. And so imagine how proud I am to be his co-author on Money on the Table. My background is in BNI for a very long time. I started in BNI back in the early mid-90s as a real estate appraiser, and that was in Arizona with Norm Dominguez, and then later his son Nate, building that region up in northern Arizona. So anyway, I've been involved with BNI for a long time. I am a power team coach and trainer. That's what I do. And my career track has basically been through the real estate industry in a variety of capacities over the years. So with all that, having been in your shoes as a chapter member, I've been a chapter president, I've been an area director, I've been there and done all that. And basically what we found over the years, each region has their own metrics, but having traveled around the world doing this, I found certain things that are kind of universal. Anyway, I'll rattle on here and then I'll unmute the phones for feedback. So anyway, having done this for a long time, each region's going to have different metrics on how many chapter members they're targeting and all that good stuff. But what I've found universally is that 36 members is a good minimum chapter size. And so invariably around the world, that's what people are looking for. A retention rate of about 80%. BNI statistics typically show that you have to add one new person a month to stay at the same size. And so we'd like to turn that around with an 80% retention rate. At a minimum, the metric of how many referrals per member per week. 2 at a minimum. Members passing at least $100,000 closed business a year. And then from the director's standpoint, higher market penetration and 30% increase in chapter size as an annual goal are some of the BNI wish lists that that I've seen for a long time. However, sometimes this power team stuff can be a little bit scary, okay? So what happens, you'll always see some BNI members who succeed. There will always be the few, the proud, the brave that rock and roll through BNI and a power team. But unfortunately, that's not the majority. Folks drop out. Some BNI chapters will grow, others fizzle. And when there is a power team that's typically working, people don't really know why. And it's because too often it's about the charismatic, skilled organizer group of people that are the right people at the right time, doing the right things the right way. And it's not really duplicatable because it's based on their unique skills. The fact of it is that most power teams don't work. So why is that? Well, the main reason, and then everything else is a subcategory of that, is that there's no real roadmap to start the power team. So what happens is folks get together with the best intentions, typically from the same contact sphere, the same industry group. They do kind of, work for the same clients. They might not step on each other's toes, at least hopefully not too much in terms of overlapping. And by golly, they get together with the right intention. They want to pass more referrals. So what are they going to do? What does it look like? What's the roadmap? And what I've learned over the years is that there's 4 phases of building a power team. And I'm going to show you a couple things here tonight. There's 4 phases of building a power team. And what happens without a roadmap is people skip over the first 2 phases. They skip over a boot camp session phase that we'll talk a little bit about, and then a bragging buddy implementation stage. These are 2 stages that are not intuitive. People jump to the 3rd stage, which is a group of people getting together trying to create referrals for each other. So anyway, we'll talk more about that. Here's another interesting thing. When a typical power team forms, because they're based on contact spheres and industry groups, they just benefit a small part of the chapter. They don't necessarily benefit everybody. In the power team certified system, it's designed to be inclusive, where the people who are really driving the engine are certainly promoting each other's business primarily, but systematically as well, promoting the entire chapter in a relevant way. And so the way that we do this is really good for the entire chapter. So when it comes to generating referrals, okay, everybody knows VCP, right? Dr. Meisner's VCP formula: visibility, credibility, profitability. You got to have visibility and then credibility before you can get to profitability. Well, unfortunately, what I learned is that the visibility stuff is too often random visibility, okay? Random visibility. There's a better type of visibility to start that VCP process, and that's called systematic visibility. And that's what we do in Power Team Certified when we're ready for it. So the Power Team solution is all about uncovering money on the table with an easy to follow, fast, duplicatable process to start, grow, and manage your power team. The material came out of the book Money on the Table, Referrals in the Bank, that we published 2011, I believe, when we launched it at the International Conference in Southern California. And so what I was saying earlier is that as soon as this book came out, we had BNI chapters from around the world, in Asia, in Europe, in the Middle East, all over the darn place. And people were trying to implement a lot of the stuff that was in here. And it wasn't written for a group. It was written, more for the individual. So Dr. Meisner asked me to put together a step-by-step training system, and that became Power Team Certified. That's what we're talking about here tonight, is Power Team Certified. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep rattling on here, and then I'll open it up for questions at the end. So I'll just go through the presentation and we'll do the questions at the end. So some of the things that we've done, and we'll get some testimonials from some of the guys when I open up the lines here. But whether you're on an existing power team that's not working, you're thinking of starting a power team and you want to do it the right way, you're more focused on your chapter. You want to make sure that your chapter is going to be stronger and healthier. We have done those things for groups of people as small as 2 and, you know, larger up into the chapter size. Those are some of the benefits. Some of the tactics or some of the real takeaways are what we do is we're going to simplify recognizing opportunity. One of the reasons why there's a lot of money left on the table is people fail to recognize that there's a referral opportunity happening in front of them. And so we've created a system based on life cycle events that make it really easy to identify, hey, I'm standing in the middle of a referral here. So we simplify referral opportunity recognition. We use a proactive system to take the guesswork out of the referrals. I mentioned that earlier. It's called systematic visibility. We're going to introduce you to the 4 stages of power team development. If you don't know these 4 stages, you're going to start on stage 3. Okay, that's where you're going to start, and it's not going to work out the way that you want. But what we do offer is an easy rollout. And so the idea is counterintuitive, but when you start Power Team Certified, invariably I get the question, what's the optimal size of my power team? How many people do we need? And the answer is that we need to start with at least 2, and then we can go from there. And so my goal with Power Team Certified has always been to get into giving referrals right away. This is about velocity. This is about giving referrals right away that are high quality referrals and receiving referrals in return with equal urgency. And doing that among 2 people who we call bragging buddies. Once those 2 people are rocking and rolling as a duo, they're ready to join forces with another duo, and now they start forming a power team, okay? So the bragging buddy stage is the second stage. There's the boot camp stage at the very beginning, which is some of the stuff we do. So recognizing opportunity through life cycle events. We do some communication skills stuff, asking questions, trigger questions. I'm going to show you some trigger questions that are going to change the way you go about communicating with people in your everyday activities, and as a result, creating more referrals. And it's an easy to duplicate system with lesson plans and training webinars. So if your BNI chapter gets a 75% or more buy-in among the members, and I am not looking for you to start with that many people in your chapter, okay? If that was the case, then fine, if it happens organically. But I've learned a long time ago that there's 2 ways to roll out a training system in BNI. And the intuitive approach is the trickle down. It comes from above. It comes from the executive director. This is a new program, let's roll it out. And that's the intuitive way that most people want to do it. After all, if we're all on the same page, surely we're going to all get more out of it. And that's very, very rare that that happens, because everybody in a chapter is at different points of their life and their BNI experience and all kinds of different things. So what I found is what we're doing here tonight. Okay, that's why it's fun for me. What we're doing here tonight is we were gathered here this evening or this afternoon for you folks by people in your BNI region that are doing so great that everybody's asking, well, what are you guys doing? We want to start doing that. And that's why we're here tonight. Now, when the chapter gets a buy-in of 75% or more of the people, members of the chapter who've gone through the program, I'll set up some BNI education slots for the area directors to come in and do some 10 minutes, as well as the education coordinator on the chapter level doing a minute or 2 for 6 to 8 weeks. Because if I've gone through the program with you, I'm going to know a lot about you and your chapter. And so let's talk a little bit about that. So it's not my goal for you guys to go back to your chapter and you know, get 100% buy-in. If you did that, that'd be great. But we're going to talk now about how this program rolls out. Got some visuals here that are just kind of fun. You know, we've done these trainings and books all around the world, so I've got different images with currency, you know, like the Asian currency, Canadian, Australian. So it's kind of fun just to look at some of this stuff. But let's talk about the 3 programs that we're offering to you, okay? So this is the product and service feature benefit type part of our presentation. So there's 3 levels of what we're going to talk about here. The first level is a do-it-yourself workbook and DVD set. We call it the Roadmap Workbook, okay, the Roadmap Workbook. Those of you that went to the trainings or the workshops either last night or the week or 2 before, the webinars that you watched at that presentation were out of the DVD set. And so that was just the first 3, and it goes a whole lot deeper, step by step, with lesson plans in the workbook. And anybody that goes through all levels of the program have to start with the materials. So level 1 is the do-it-yourself workbook DVD set. Level number 2 is very, very important, which is advanced group trainings. So for those of you that are serious about working in concert with each other and really having a higher probability of success, need to take advantage of the advanced group trainings. So the advanced group trainings are 3 live 90-minute webinars with me where I go through a series of exercises. Week number 1, everybody gets homework. Session number 2 might not be within a week. It depends on how long it takes for people to get their homework together. We work as a group. Some groups are faster than others. But the advanced group trainings are 3 sessions. The first, we get to know each other. I introduce some stuff. I give you an exercise. You do your homework. You get it back to me. Our second group session is me reviewing the homework, identifying patterns, pointing out things to enhance what you're doing, giving you another homework assignment. I get that back, and then we do our final session, okay? So those are 3 group sessions. I'll get into the pricing and all that here in a minute. So that's the advanced group trainings. Now, the folks that you've heard who are having the tremendous success are all graduates of the mastery program, okay? Now, if you go through the do-it-yourself or the group trainings, you're going to get benefit, you're going to get value, and you should be able to generate more referrals, both giving and receiving. But if you really want to synergize as a group and maximize what you're doing individually, you need to go through the one-to-one coaching mastery program. What that is 2 one-to-ones with me, one-to-one. And guess what we do? You know how I said group session number 1, I give you some homework and then I go through it and then we come back for group session number 2 and talk about it? Well, your one-to-one with me, if it's coaching mastery, is you and I are going to go through your homework together, just you and I. And I'm going to do a deep dive into the things that we're working on that help you do 2 things. The whole goal here is to learn how to do 2 things. And that's train people to recognize opportunity and give compelling testimonials. And the second thing is for you to perform that yourself, okay? So if you want to get the type of results that Lloyd Mize and his team in the Temecula area are getting, they're all graduates of the one-to-one coaching mastery program. Those are the 3 levels. Now I'll break it down a little bit more and get into the pricing, and I think then I'll wrap up what I'm delivering, and then we'll open it up for questions. So again, a little artwork here. So this is just a mock-up of the DVD set. It's actually 2 DVDs, the workbook and the Money on the Table book. So again, the workbook DVDs, 16 lesson plans, 2 DVD set, 29 videos, copy of the book, and that's $99.50 for the set. Okay, so that's $99.50 for the set. Now I have a special group price that I'll show you here in a second. The group trainings, as I said, is 3 live 90-minute sessions where we're going to maximize your implementation as a group and benefit to the individual members. Okay, so this includes a roster workshop, Power Team roster workshop. The idea with the roster workshop is that it gives me a breakdown on what your chapter strengths are and where the holes are in terms of growing the chapter and inviting visitors, and I'll show you that on the next slide, what the roster workshop looks like. When we do the group trainings, I'm going to guide you through boot camp and the bragging buddy phases of Power Team development. There's a reason why everybody skips over those two things. It's because it's not intuitive. And so over the years, we've kind of cracked the code on boot camp, which is you preparing. What are you preparing to do? You're preparing to train people on how to do two things. How to recognize opportunities to refer you, number one, and then how to give compelling testimonials about you, number two. So before you get together with your bragging buddy, even forget about a group of 10 or more people as a power team. Before you can even get together with your bragging buddy, you've got to know how to train that person to do what. So you're starting to get an idea on what our trainings might look like a little bit, right? I'm going to talk a heck of a lot about recognizing opportunity and giving compelling testimonials. So if you do the group trainings, I'll guide you through that as a group, okay? Here's the rules of the game for these group trainings. If it's just 2 or 3 of you from a chapter, and there's 2 or 3 people in another chapter, and you want to defray the cost a little bit, you can buddy up. If you've got 3 or less, you can participate with another chapter, okay? If there's just 2 of you or 3 of you, you can do that. Now, I've done groups of 2 and I've done groups of 3, and I think that's a better way to go. But what you're going to see is that it's a little more per person that way, and I'll show you why. However, if you have 4 or more from a chapter, you guys got to be a unique group. If there's 4 or more from a chapter for the group trainings, you've got to be a unique group. And if there's a single or double or even a triple out there, I'll size it up if it's a good fit. If you've got 4 or 5, and there won't be any problem putting people in. So we'll kind of play it a little bit, but if you have 4 or more, you need your own group. 3 or less will give you the option if you want to buddy up with another group. Here's the Power Team roster worksheet. So this is a visual. The actual worksheet is a little more sophisticated than this, but this is the best way to visually represent what it is. So in the material, we break down your contact spheres, or what I've grown to call industry groups, into 6 categories, 6 contact spheres. And these are all consistent, obviously, with the Money on the Table material, Power Team certified. So what we do before you start your group trainings is somebody from the chapter fills this thing out and goes through your chapter roster with, what do you currently have? What do you have that's active in the chapter right now? Okay? You don't fill out the open. You just fill out the active. I can see what's open, right, by what's not there. I've done this so many times that over the years, just based on the shape, like a simple strand of DNA, I can see, just based on the shape, what we need to do with the chapter. So one of the fun things that you guys experienced at the I'm Relevant workshop was how some of these different business categories can be relevant to each other. Okay, that's one of the things that makes this material special, is I can show you how a massage therapist and a CPA, how a realtor and a pet sitter can just do wonders for each other. So when I see a pattern of a chapter, I can help you in a lot of ways. One, if we're doing mastery, I can start dialing you into things that I think you're missing. Okay, if we're doing the group trainings, I can start talking about how we begin to invite the open categories. After all, we can see where the gaps are. We know where the strengths are. Let's use the Power Team language to attract the open business category and show them a way how we do what? Make them systematically visible as part of our Power Team. So I guarantee you that we'll help build your chapter if we get the group trainings with the roster worksheet. Here's how the money works. I've done this a lot of different ways over the years. This is the most fair and practical way to do this. The group trainings is a $500 flat rate. Okay, $500 flat rate for all 3 sessions. Here's how it works. If you have 5 people in your group, it's $100 each. And I'll give you the materials for half price. Okay, if you have 10 people, it's still the $500 flat rate. Is $50 each plus the materials. Okay, so for me, the group trainings, it's the same amount of time. I'm putting 90 minutes out. So I'm giving you guys a big BNI discount here on the rates of everything that I'm doing. And so the $500 flat rate to me is the most fair way to deliver this part of the training. Okay, so you can do the math now on how many people in your group if you're going to go through the group training. Let's wrap it up with the one-to-one coaching. So the one-to-one coaching is 2 one-hour sessions with me in between the group trainings. I'm going to drill down on the 10 key questions. You're going to tell me about your childhood a little bit, okay? I'm going to get to know what's motivating you and why you got started doing what you're doing, and we're going to talk a little bit, and I'm going to help you craft some answers to your 10 key questions that are going to make it easy for your power team partners to give compelling testimonials about you. And then we'll work on your connector to create a worksheet to help you train your networking partners on how to recognize opportunity. Okay, so you'll get 2 one-hour sessions with me. And the cool thing is that everybody who's gone through the mastery with me, when we come back for the second session, guess what? I get to train the group on everything I learned about you. So if I learn more about you between sessions, I can train the group and recognize more opportunities that I can share with the group as we go through the process. So my focus is to train you to train your networking partners to recognize opportunity, give compelling testimonials, so that people who've never met you will like you, trust you, and want to do business with you. And so finally, the last piece of this is because I've been able to speak with the other people on your power team. And part of my process is I get into it with you. How many referrals have you been given to these people? How many have they been giving to you? Is it working? Is it not working? Is it strange and weird and you don't know what's happening, or do you love this person and you wish there were more of them? By getting into it with you guys, I can get into not only the science of structured networking, but the art of relationship management. And so I can add some value when you go through the one-to-one with me. How much is that? It's a slam dunk value of $200 a person. Okay, so $200 gets you 2 one-to-one sessions with me when we do it in alignment with these other group trainings. So how do you get started? I'll open it up for questions here in a second. Like I said, the special offer to get the $49.50 price, the workbook materials and all need to be in sets of 5 or more. And again, this is kind of what some of that stuff looks like. Those are the rules again. And here's the information. So if you go to powerteamplanet.com, it will take you to the order page, basically, where you can order the individual materials, you can order the group trainings, you can order the one-to-one coaching mastery, all off of that page. If you need more information, you're welcome to email me. We're going to talk here in a minute, and I unmute the phones. But hopefully that gave you a bunch of information. And now let's see if I can unmute Paul.
Don't go to one was not clear. It won't sit.
So I'm going to mute everybody, and we can type messages now that we've navigated technology here. So yeah, you can just type your questions in. Glenn, if you have a question, please do type them in. Okay, so Glenn asks, how long does it take to schedule and when are you available? It really depends on the group. You know, we can set the first session up pronto and get the ball rolling, and then based on the people in the group, I have a busy but flexible schedule. And so, you know, we'll figure it out. I found early on that it's a mistake to say, you know, we'll do the second group meeting 10 days after the first meeting, because sometimes it goes faster, sometimes it takes a little longer, and particularly the third meeting can also take a little longer. So to answer your question, we can schedule the first one right away, and I have a flexible schedule where we can find a time on any given day in the morning or afternoon. So Glenn, if that answers your question, I hope it does. If not, let me know. Renee Mize, what if we start with do-it-yourself and decide to go with mastery? Well, I mean, that's the whole idea. You know, the whole idea is to meet people where they're at and be flexible. What I fear as any intellectual property generator is that, you know, the material gets watered down if people don't get the direct, you know, message, if you will, or training from me. Obviously, you do get the information directly from me on the recorded materials, and you will get value there. So I feel good about that product. But if you're looking to duplicate the results, then you might want to move up. So start where you're at, Renee, and go from there. Alan, when we sign up, are we signing up as a group or individually? Or should we discuss at the next chapter meeting? Yeah, you definitely need to talk as a group. And so the idea with the group element is exactly that. So, you know, the group training, it comes through one PayPal button. And so one person would, you know, place the order and then collect from everybody else. So the group trainings would be done by one person for the rest of the group. The materials for that group would be ordered at that time, which would be the $49.95. If 5 people go through the thing together, yes, it'd be $49.95. And then individually, you'd sign up for the one-to-one mastery. So if you're going to go through one-to-one mastery, if all 5 of you are, then each of you would do that one on your own order. Okay. So that's Alan's question. Hopefully I answered that. Definitely discuss it at the next meeting. And so, you know, you can even do the 10 key questions, or not the 10 key questions, but the I'm relevant exercise at the chapter meeting. There's all kinds of things you can do. Best yet, invite them to the next presentation that Lloyd does with his group. So, okay, we'll move to the next question from Carrie. Can this work for all chapters, new groups and more established groups equally? What it works with, Carrie, is for the people in the chapter. So, yeah, it can work for, I haven't met a business category yet that I can't work with as a business category. And so as long as that person can find somebody to network with, we can start a chapter around that. There's a lot of old dogs in BNI. We've been doing things the same way for a long time. The good news is I've probably been doing it for at least as long as they have. And so we can get into a change some behavior. And that's why I like the one-to-ones, because I like getting down into it with you. Invariably, there's going to be some personality conflicts, some weird things, along with all the good warm and fuzzy stuff. So I can, sometimes the dysfunctional groups are the most fun. So if they want to generate more business, I can help them with Power Team Certified. Dennis says, we have an interest in our group from 7 people so far. Some may want to start to do it yourself. Others may want to go through the PTC 101 training. How would that look? Well, basically the way that it would look is you would order your materials, which would be 5 or more. So you probably order 10 materials, sets of material, and then 1 group order. And then the people that are going through the group order would, you know, divide it up and go for it. I find that doing it in units of 5 rather than the exact number, so if you have 7 people and ordering 7 units, Invariably, you're going to find that people are going to want to join, and it's just easier and more effective to have a few extra sets of material there, and units of 5, you know, from 7 to 10 usually makes sense. So that's the way it would work, is you get at least one set of materials for everybody, order the group training, and then divide the group training up among the people who want to go for it. Any other questions, you'll let me know. This is Monique. Is it your recommendation that all members of the power team have read the Money on the Table book first? No, it's not linear sequential. Money on the Table is something that, you know, it's 2 parts, and the second part is kind of like a reference area, and then the first is your toolbox. We use Money on the Table in the Power Team Certified Training. It covers things from a little different angle, and it's a supplement, but it's not a prerequisite. Next is Glenn Keene. Is it better to have one power team from one chapter sign up, or in case 2 power teams, financial and trades, attend the same training? Well, that is a fantastic question. And it just depends on how many people in the dynamic. In a perfect world, I'll make you a special offer, Glenn, because I can do these things. It's fun for me. Here's what I'll do. I'll make you an offer. If you have your 2 power teams sign up independent of each other, I'll throw in an additional group session for everybody. Okay? So I'll tie it all together with a special bonus session where both power teams that went through the process individually will come into one massive training where the sparks will fly, and it'll be good fun for everybody. Okay. All right. So, are there any other questions? Any other questions? If you do have more questions, you're welcome to email me directly. So, yeah, I've got that covered. So, yeah, thanks again. Appreciate it. Text me if there's anything I can answer. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing your order come through and getting started to help you make more money with Power Team. So, get out there and give some referrals, all right? So, we'll talk to y'all later.